The red dust of Zytheria 9 stretched endlessly under the twin suns. The mining colony, tucked in a remote corner of the galaxy, looked abandoned from afar. Yet up close it hummed with activity. Workers moved along conveyor belts, robots carried heavy crates, and alien enforcers walked among the humans, keeping an ever-watchful eye. To any outsider who had only seen the colony from orbit, the scene was clear: humans being herded like property, slaves sold to the highest bidder. But Commander Alara Voss of the starship Aurora's Pride knew better. Humanity had always been underestimated in the galaxy, dismissed as fragile or predictable. Yet time and again, humans had proven themselves clever, resilient, and resourceful in ways no one expected. And today, Alara intended to prove it once more. Her team hovered above the colony in a small dropship, its hull shimmering slightly to avoid detection. Beside her, Lieutenant Rin, a sharp-eyed strategist, checked the mission display again. "The reports from the Council were clear," he said, his voice tense but controlled. "The aliens claim these humans are being trafficked. They're expecting minimal resistance. They think we're walking into a negotiation." Alara smiled, a quiet, confident curve of her lips. "They think wrong," she said. Her dark eyes scanned the red horizon. "This isn't a negotiation. This is a demonstration. A lesson." The dropship lowered silently, sand swirling around its landing struts. Below, humans worked in small groups, their expressions tired but determined. The alien guards walked among them, armed and alert, their long, clawed fingers tapping on energy rifles. From the distance, it was easy to assume the humans were submissive. Yet, as Alara had learned in previous missions, looks were deceiving. Humanity's strength rarely showed on the surface. "Everyone ready?" Alara asked, turning to her crew. They nodded, each member equipped with adaptive suits, noise-canceling devices, and holographic projectors. Their goal was simple in theory: infiltrate the colony, locate the humans under the aliens' control, and extract them safely. But Alara knew better. Simple theory rarely matched reality in the field. "Remember," she added, "they're expecting fear. They're expecting hesitation. Give them neither. Move fast, think faster, and use your heads. That's how humans win every time." The dropship touched down lightly, sand puffing around its base. Alara led the way, stepping off first, her boots crunching against the fine red dust. The colony seemed larger from the ground, with metal walkways, storage domes, and energy pylons stretching toward the sky. The humans below glanced at the newcomers, curiosity flickering in their tired eyes. Alara motioned for the team to spread out. "We're not here to scare them," she said under her breath. "We're here to show them they're not alone." The first challenge came sooner than expected. Alien enforcers patrolled a wide corridor, their movements sharp and synchronized. One misstep and the team would be detected. Lieutenant Rin whispered instructions into his comm. "Project your images ahead of us. Make them think the corridor is empty. Follow my lead." The holograms shimmered briefly, then dissolved as the team moved. Each human step was deliberate, precise. They were ghosts in the sand, shadows that moved where the aliens would not look. Every corner they rounded, every door they passed, tested their patience and skill. And every test confirmed what Alara had always believed: humans were unpredictable in the best ways. Meanwhile, the humans under alien supervision watched quietly. They had noticed the subtle changes, the way shadows moved differently, the faint hum of machines not meant to be there. Hope stirred among them, fragile but persistent. No one spoke openly, but eyes met, and whispers traveled like electricity along the lines of tired workers. Something was different today. Something had arrived. Alara paused near the entrance to the central compound, glancing up at the towering walls. "Rin," she said softly, "signal the rest. It's time to move." A nod came from him, almost invisible, and the team adjusted. They split into pairs, covering more ground without drawing attention. Every guard passed was a risk, yet none noticed the humans moving among them. It was not brute force that carried the day, but careful planning, timing, and the quiet confidence of a team that knew their strengths. Inside the compound, the prisoners, if they could even be called that, looked up as a soft hum echoed through the hallways. Small lights flickered, creating illusions of movement where none existed. The aliens glanced around, frowning, but dismissed it. They had grown used to minor glitches in their systems. They were confident. Too confident. Alara's team reached the main holding area, a large dome where the humans were kept under minimal supervision. They paused, listening. The faintest sighs, a low murmur of voices, the shuffling of tired feet. It all confirmed the reports. The humans were there, alive, waiting. And just like Ilara had planned, they were ready for guidance, not rescue. Ready? She whispered. Her team nodded. With a signal, they activated the holographic projectors. The guards in the dome blinked at the sudden figures appearing and disappearing in impossible patterns. Confused, they scrambled to respond, unsure of what was happening. In the same moment, Ilara and her crew slipped through the side doors unseen, reaching the humans without confrontation. "What? Who are you?" one of the workers asked, eyes wide. Ilara crouched to meet their gaze. "We're humans," she said simply, "like you, and we're here to take back control." A ripple of hope spread through the room. Some smiled hesitantly. Others shook their heads in disbelief. Could it really be true? Humans weren't meant to be helpless, and now here were strangers, strong, smart, and fearless, showing them exactly that. "Follow us," Ilara instructed. "Stay calm, move fast. The sooner we're out, the better. And remember, we're not just rescuing you, we're showing them that humans don't give up." The humans obeyed, inspired by the quiet authority in her voice. As they moved, the alien guards finally realized something was wrong. They raised their weapons, shouted orders, and tried to intercept. But it was too late. The humans had already learned the power of coordination, distraction, and unpredictability. Every move the aliens attempted was anticipated and countered with clever improvisation. By the time the team reached the outer corridors, the colonists were no longer passive. They helped, guiding each other past security checkpoints, warning of guards, and assisting with the holographic diversions. What had started as a rescue mission was evolving into something larger, a human-led operation that no alien had expected. Outside, the sun reflected off the colony's domes, casting long shadows over the red dust. The dropship waited, engines humming quietly. The humans moved toward it, hesitance fading into determination. They were not slaves, not captives. They were participants in reclaiming their own freedom. Ilara watched them climb aboard one by one. Her smile grew wider. "They thought we were weak," she said softly. "They thought we would be afraid. They thought wrong." As the dropship lifted off, leaving the colony behind, the alien guards stared in disbelief. Humanity had arrived quietly, without warning. And now the humans they had assumed were victims were being carried to safety, organized, and ready to fight back if needed. For the first time, the aliens realized they had underestimated a species that refused to be controlled. Ilara leaned back in her seat, scanning the colony through the viewport. "Part 1, Rin," she said. "The first step is complete. They see us as a threat now, and that's exactly how it should be. But this is only the beginning. The galaxy has yet to learn what humans are capable of." Lieutenant Rin smiled faintly. "It's one thing to rescue a colony. It's another to show them what we can do together." Ilara's eyes gleamed. "And we will. Step by step, mission by mission. They'll never see us coming until it's too late. Humanity always rises, Rin. Always." The twin suns of Xitheria 9 dipped lower on the horizon, painting the red dust in shades of gold and crimson. The dropship soared into the sky, carrying the liberated humans toward the next chapter of their journey, a chapter that promised danger, challenge, and the undeniable truth that humanity was never meant to be underestimated. And somewhere in the galaxy, the message was already spreading. Humans were not slaves. Humans were not weak, and when they fought together, no force could contain them. The misjudged arrival had ended. But the story of humanity's courage, ingenuity, and unyielding spirit was just beginning. The night sky over Xitheria 9 was deep and quiet, the twin moons casting silver light over the red desert. The colony, once under tight alien control, now hummed with human activity. Commander Ilara Voss stood atop a small ridge, her eyes scanning the horizon. Below, the freed colonists moved with purpose, securing supply depots, guiding newcomers, and fortifying barricades. Humanity had turned their weakness into strength, and the aliens were about to learn that underestimating humans was a grave mistake. "Ilara," Lieutenant Rin said, joining her at the ridge, "we've got reports of reinforcements approaching from the east. They'll be here within the hour." Ilara's expression did not waver. "Then we'll meet them on our terms," she replied calmly. "Remember, we don't need to fight blindly. We control the map, the terrain, and the element of surprise. Humans win by thinking smarter, not harder." The colonists had already begun their own preparations. Small groups patrolled the outskirts using improvised sensors and barriers. Every device, every obstacle was designed to slow the aliens without causing harm. Ilara watched a group of colonists set up a line of mirrors and light sensors to create false movement signals. The aliens, seeing shadows where no humans were, would hesitate, giving the defenders time to act. Ilara turned to her team. We split into 3 groups. One team creates diversions along the main route. Another disables the alien transport vehicles silently. The last team, including Rin and me, will target the command center. Precision and timing are everything. The first group moved toward the main road, using sound-canceling devices and holographic projections to create the illusion of multiple human forces advancing from different directions. Lights flickered, shadows shifted, and alarms buzzed sporadically. Alien patrols expecting a direct confrontation hesitated, unsure how to respond. Meanwhile, the second team approached the alien transport vehicles. They moved silently, using cables and magnetic locks to immobilize the engines. In minutes, several vehicles were rendered useless, stranded on the dusty terrain. The aliens attempted to start them, but every attempt failed. Each delay added to the growing confusion and fear among the reinforcements. Ilara and Rin led the third team toward the command center. The path was dangerous, but they had studied the layout carefully. Every patrol pattern had been memorized, every security checkpoint mapped. When they reached the perimeter, Ilara signaled her team to wait. We go in together. Quiet, precise, and fast. The command center controls their defenses. If we take it, the rest of the colony is ours. The command center's entrance was guarded by 2 aliens armed and alert. Ilara signaled, and her team moved simultaneously. Using non-lethal tasers and quick maneuvers, they incapacitated the guards without making noise. Within seconds, the doors slid open, revealing a room filled with consoles, monitors, and control panels. Rin immediately got to work, fingers flying over the holographic keyboard. I'm taking control of their sensors and communications. Once I'm done, the reinforcements won't know what's happening until it's too late. Ilara moved through the room, observing the alien operators who had been monitoring the colony. They were confused, startled, and unprepared for this level of human coordination. One attempted to raise an alarm, only to find the communication lines cut. Another tried to access the sensors, but the displays flickered and shut down. The humans were in control. Outside the command center, the first 2 groups continued their counterattack. Holographic illusions showed large forces advancing from multiple directions. Barricades delayed alien movements, and improvised traps funneled reinforcements into areas where humans had the advantage. Every step the aliens took was met with confusion and unpredictability. Inside the command center, Rin's work progressed rapidly. Sensors are offline. Doors are locked. Reinforcements won't know what's happening outside. He smiled, looking at Ilara. We've got them. Now we just need to keep the pressure on. Ilara nodded. Time to make them understand that humans don't surrender easily. From the ridge above the colony, Ilara signaled to the colonists below. Small lights flickered on along the perimeter, showing the paths where humans would appear to be advancing. The colonists understood immediately. They moved with confidence, guiding shadows and illusions to confuse the aliens further. This wasn't chaos, it was strategy. Every human knew their role, and together they formed an unstoppable network. The alien reinforcements, expecting a quick suppression of the colony, were disoriented. Their transports were disabled, their patrols were misdirected, and their communications were jammed. Confusion turned into panic. They had assumed humans would be easy prey. They had assumed the colony would fall in hours, and they were wrong. Ilara's team now coordinated directly with the colonists. Move the barricades closer to the main gate. Funnel them here. Keep the illusions active, she instructed. The colonists obeyed without hesitation, their confidence growing with every command that worked. For the first time, they realized they were part of something greater than survival. They were part of a resistance. As the reinforcements approached, they walked directly into the traps laid by humans. Holographic duplicates created the illusion of humans attacking from multiple directions. Barricades slowed their advance. False alarms drew them into dead ends. The aliens, trained for combat and intimidation, found themselves outmaneuvered by cleverness and planning. Every movement was anticipated. Every action countered. Ilara watched, satisfied. They thought they were coming to suppress us, she said softly. Instead, they've walked into a lesson they won't forget. Humanity adapts. Humanity survives. Humanity wins. The reinforcements tried to regroup, but it was too late. The humans had taken control of the colony, the command center, and the surrounding perimeter. The aliens realized that brute force alone would not win against humans who worked together, thought quickly, and used their environment intelligently. In the command center, Ilara activated a colony-wide broadcast. Her voice echoed through speakers and screens across the facility. People of Scifi 9, stand tall. You are free. You are no longer under control. Work together, protect each other, and remember that humanity cannot be underestimated. Today we reclaim our home, the message spread quickly. Colonists cheered, and those who had been hiding or fearful stepped forward. They joined the defense, guided by the humans, and strengthened the colony's position. No longer were they victims. They were partners in a human-led counterattack. Outside, the alien reinforcements attempted to push forward, but their efforts were met with resistance at every turn. Barricades, illusions, and human strategy disrupted their formations. The more they tried to advance, the more confused they became. Every attempt to regain control failed. Humanity had turned the hunters into the hunted. Ilara looked over the colony from her position at the ridge. "This is more than a rescue mission," she said. "This is a demonstration. They assumed we were weak. They assumed we would comply. And now they understand what humans can do when we stand together." Bryn joined her, nodding in agreement. "The colony is secure for now. But we need to be ready. There may be more reinforcements coming." Ilara smiled faintly. "Let them come. Humans have proven time and again that courage and intelligence are stronger than fear. We'll be ready." The night passed with quiet vigilance. The colonists remained alert, learning from the humans and helping with defenses. Each small success built confidence. Every confused alien patrol reinforced their courage. Humanity had shown that with strategy, intelligence, and unity, even the most desperate situation could be turned into a victory. By dawn, the alien forces had begun to retreat, realizing the battle was lost. They had underestimated the humans. They had assumed the colonists would be easy to control, and in the end, they were forced to withdraw, leaving the colony in human hands. Ilara watched the sunrise over Scifi 9, the red sands glowing in the morning light. The mission had reached a critical turning point. Humans had not only rescued the colonists but had demonstrated their ability to lead, to adapt, and to fight without fear. The aliens would remember this day. The galaxy would remember this day. And most importantly, the humans of Scifi 9 would remember it. They had learned that they were not helpless. They had learned that courage, intelligence, and unity could overcome even the strongest odds. And they had learned that humanity, when united, could not be underestimated. Ilara turned to her team and the colonists who had joined them. "This is just the beginning," she said. "The rest of the galaxy may think it knows what humans are. But we've shown them our first lesson, and there will be more. Always more." The colonists cheered quietly, their spirits lifted. They had been freed, yes, but more than that, they had been inspired. They were no longer passive participants in their own story. They were active, brave, and ready to protect themselves and their home. As the team prepared for the next phase, Ilara felt a quiet satisfaction. The counterattack had worked. The aliens had been outsmarted, and the humans had shown once again that their greatest strength was not in weapons or numbers but in courage, intelligence, and determination. The misjudged humans were now the ones in control, and the galaxy would take notice. The dropship hummed softly as it hovered above the rocky plains outside the colony. Ilara Voss, commander of the Aurora's Pride, gazed at the horizon where the last twin suns of Scifi 9 dipped behind jagged mountains. The first part of the mission had succeeded. Humans had been located, and the initial extraction was underway, but the real challenge had only just begun. Ilara turned to her team, their faces glowing faintly under the dashboard lights. "We've got them out of the main compound," she said, her voice calm yet sharp. "But the aliens will be sending reinforcements soon. We need to move fast. This is the part where strategy matters more than speed." Lieutenant Rin, the team's tactical officer, nodded. "I've scanned the colony. There's a secondary facility about 3 kilometers from here. It's heavily guarded, but it contains the communications hub. If we can take control of it, we can prevent any calls for help." Ilara smiled slightly. "Exactly. And while they're distracted by us, the colonists can start organizing themselves. They won't be victims anymore. They'll be partners. The dropship lowered gently, settling behind a ridge of jagged rocks. The team disembarked quietly, the desert wind kicking up small clouds of red dust around their boots. Their holographic projectors shimmered to life, projecting images of barren rocks and empty terrain ahead. Any alien patrol scanning the area would see nothing unusual, only the natural landscape. As they approached the communications hub, the first signs of danger became visible. Patrol drones hovered in the air, scanning the terrain with red beams of light. Guard towers lined the perimeter, and alien sentries walked slowly along metal walkways, weapons at the ready. From the outside, it looked impossible to infiltrate, but for humans, impossible was merely a challenge waiting to be solved. Alara crouched behind a rock, studying the patrol patterns. Rin, timing is everything. We move in pairs. First pair creates a distraction near the east tower. Second pair takes out the drones silently. The rest of us go straight for the hub. Rin nodded, double-checking his equipment. Understood. Let's make it clean and fast. No mistakes. The operation began with a soft hum as the first pair activated noise-canceling devices. A faint vibration pulsed through the air, confusing the sensors of the east tower. The guards paused, glancing around, unsure of what they were hearing. At the same time, the second pair crept toward the hovering drones, their motion precise and deliberate. With a touch of a hand, the drones flickered and went dark, falling harmlessly to the ground. Ilara's team moved swiftly, shadows among shadows. The colonists they had rescued earlier watched from a distance, amazed at the humans' skill. What they had thought was impossible, their liberation, was now unfolding before their eyes step by step. And it wasn't violence that led the way, but intelligence, planning, and courage. Inside the hub, the team found the main entrance heavily reinforced. Energy barriers shimmered in the air, humming softly. Ilara's eyes narrowed. Rin, hack it, she instructed. Open it from the inside. Rin's fingers flew over his portable console. Lines of code raced across the screen as he bypassed the security protocols. The barrier flickered, then dissipated. The entrance was open, and the team slipped inside. The hub was dimly lit, the walls lined with consoles and displays showing activity across the colony. Aliens monitored the systems from small control stations, unaware that their security was being dismantled from within. Ilara moved forward, signaling her team to split into positions. Take the consoles, she whispered. Shut down their sensors and lock their doors. We don't want them alerting anyone outside. The team worked quickly, fingers flying over touchscreens and holographic panels. Lights blinked, alarms were muted, and the corridors outside the hub became quiet once more. The aliens, confused and frustrated, realized too late that they had underestimated the humans. Meanwhile, the colonists took inspiration from the humans' movements. They began to organize quietly, forming small groups to watch entrances, pass messages, and plan their next steps. For the first time, they weren't just victims, they were participants. Their eyes shone with hope, a feeling they had long forgotten. Outside the hub, a patrol of alien enforcers approached. They had noticed the lack of communication and suspected trouble. But Ilara had prepared for this. The team used holographic illusions to create the appearance of a larger human force. Shadows flickered along walls, footsteps echoed where no one walked, and strange lights pulsed through the corridors. The aliens paused, uncertain and wary, their confidence beginning to crack. Ilara's voice came softly through the comms. Remember, keep calm, move fast. The faster we finish, the safer everyone will be. They expect fear, don't give them that. The patrol, confused by the illusions, moved cautiously. One guard triggered a silent alarm and a faint red light blinked on a console. Ilara saw it instantly. Rin, cut it now! Rin's fingers danced over the keyboard, hacking into the system. The red light blinked out, the alarm silenced, and the patrol was left staring at empty corridors. Ilara's team had turned the colonists' prison into a maze where the humans had all the advantage. Inside, the team split into pairs again, taking control of the remaining consoles. Each device they accessed allowed the colonists to communicate, coordinate, and prepare for the next phase. Ilara moved toward the main terminal, her eyes scanning the holographic display of the colony's layout. Rin, broadcast a message to the entire colony, she instructed. Tell them the humans are here to help. Encourage them to stand together. They need to know they're not alone. Rin typed quickly, sending a secure transmission across the colony. The screens flickered in the miners' dorms, workshops, and storage areas. The message appeared in clear text. Humans are here. You are not alone. Stand together. Freedom is possible. The colonists paused, reading the message. Then slowly, hope turned to action. Workers left their stations, moving toward designated assembly points. Groups formed, led by those brave enough to step forward. They were no longer passive participants. They were becoming leaders, defenders of their own future. Outside, the alien patrols were growing frustrated. They had expected compliance, but instead found confusion. Every step they took was met with unpredictability. Every attempt to respond was countered by careful planning. They had underestimated the humans, and that mistake was proving costly. Alara watched the chaos unfold, her mind already calculating the next move. We've got control of communications. The next step is to secure the outer gates. Once we do that, the aliens won't be able to call reinforcements. We'll have the entire colony in our hands. The team moved out using the knowledge gained from the hub to navigate the complex pathways of the colony. Every corridor had been mapped, every weak point identified. The humans moved like shadows, silent and precise, using the aliens' own confidence against them. As they approached the outer gates, the colonists joined them. They carried makeshift tools, improvised devices, and even a few drones scavenged from the compound. Under Alara's guidance, the humans set up barricades, created distractions, and prepared traps, not to harm but to confuse and delay. The aliens outside, confident in their control, walked into a situation they could not predict. Alara paused at the gate, her eyes scanning the horizon. "Remember," she said softly, "this isn't about destruction. It's about proving a point. We're showing them what humans can do when we work together." The colonists nodded, determination in their eyes. For the first time, they felt a sense of purpose. They were not helpless. They were not alone. And under Alara's guidance, they were learning that freedom was not given. It was taken through courage, intelligence, and unity. The alien reinforcements were beginning to arrive from the perimeter. Small patrols moved cautiously, unaware of the humans' position. Alara and her team activated the final phase of their plan, the diversion. Holographic duplicates of the team appeared at multiple points along the outer walls. Lights flickered, alarms buzzed, and shadows moved where no one actually walked. The aliens, seeing what they thought was a full-scale human assault, paused in confusion and fear. Alara smiled. "They think they're facing hundreds," she whispered. "And in a way they are. Human courage is always greater than the numbers suggest." With the diversion in place, the colonists moved freely, taking control of key checkpoints, guiding each other safely and securing the perimeter. The aliens, panicked and unsure, retreated to regroup. For the first time, the humans were not the hunted, they were the hunters. By the time the dust settled, the colony was under the temporary control of the humans. Alara looked at the faces of the freed colonists, their expressions a mix of relief, pride, and disbelief. "This is only the beginning," she said. "Tomorrow we take the fight further. Today, you've learned the power of working together. Never forget it." The sun set completely over Scifi 9, painting the red desert in shades of deep orange and purple. The humans stood united, ready for whatever came next. For the aliens, it was a moment of shock and reevaluation. For the humans, it was the first true taste of freedom and the first proof that they were never meant to be underestimated. And Commander Alara Voss knew, as she looked at her team and the colonists alike, that this mission would be remembered, not for the conflict it caused, but for the courage, intelligence, and unwavering spirit of humanity. The dawn of the next day broke gently over Scifi 9, painting the red sands in soft gold and amber. The colony, once a place of fear and control, now thrummed with life and quiet confidence. Humans moved with purpose, guiding colonists, checking barricades and coordinating defenses. Commander Alara Voss stood on a ridge overlooking the colony, her dark eyes scanning the horizon. She knew the aliens would not give up easily. Reinforcements could arrive at any moment. But this time, humanity was ready for them. Lieutenant Rin, beside her, checked his tactical display. "Sensors are showing movement," he said. "Scouts likely testing our defenses." Alara's lips curved into a calm smile. "Good," she replied. "Let them come. Every scout that approaches will learn the same lesson. Humans are not to be underestimated." Inside the colony, the colonists had organized themselves into small teams. Workers, engineers, and even children who had been hiding in fear now played active roles in securing their home. Barricades were reinforced, supply lines protected, and lookout posts established. Every human, guided by Ilara's team, contributed. It was not just a fight for survival. It was a display of unity, courage, and ingenuity. The first wave of alien reinforcements approached slowly, cautious after the chaos of the previous night. They expected the colony to be weak, easy to overtake, and the humans to be disorganized. They were wrong. Ilara signaled to her team. Begin Phase 2. Diversions first, then control key routes. Holographic projectors flickered to life, creating illusions of advancing human forces in multiple directions. Shadows moved along walls where no one actually walked. Barricades guided the aliens into narrow corridors. Traps slowed their progress without causing serious harm. Every step was planned, every movement coordinated. The aliens, trained for battle and intimidation, found themselves lost in a web of human ingenuity. Meanwhile, the colonists acted as guides and lookouts. They warned of patrols, managed distractions, and helped direct the aliens into zones where humans had the advantage. Their fear had transformed into courage, their passivity into action. Humanity's true strength was shining through every human who had once been considered weak or expendable. Ilara and Rin moved through the colony, directing operations and coordinating the human forces. Remember, Ilara called quietly, we are showing them what humans can do. Strategy over strength, intelligence over fear, courage over control. As the aliens advanced, they walked into a carefully constructed maze of confusion. Holographic duplicates of humans appeared in multiple areas. Barricades slowed their movements. Sensors created false alerts, drawing them into controlled zones. Every attempt to regroup was countered by human planning. The reinforcements were not just delayed, they were disoriented, frustrated, and increasingly aware of their own mistakes. From a lookout post, one of the colonists whispered, "They're scared." They didn't expect this, Ilara heard and smiled. They assumed we would be easy to control. They assumed we would be afraid. And now they're learning their first lesson. Humanity never surrenders. By mid-morning, the reinforcements had been contained. Alien leaders attempted to communicate with the command center, only to find their lines cut. Their drones and vehicles had been immobilized. Every plan they had relied on to suppress the colony had failed. Human ingenuity had turned their strength into weakness. Ilara gathered her team for a quick meeting near the ridge. We hold our positions and reinforce the colonists' defenses. If more reinforcements come, we'll handle them the same way. Strategy, coordination, courage. These are our greatest weapons. Remember that. The colonists had now fully embraced their roles. They communicated with each other efficiently, moved with confidence, and followed the humans' guidance without hesitation. They had learned that fear could be replaced by planning, helplessness by action, and despair by unity. As the day progressed, additional reinforcements arrived from further away. Ships hovered on the horizon, alien vehicles approaching cautiously. But they were too late. The humans and colonists were already in control. Holographic diversions continued to confuse the enemy. Barricades and narrow pathways channeled the reinforcements into areas where they were easily managed. Every attempt to break the humans' hold on the colony failed. Ilara moved to a central overlook and activated the colony-wide broadcast once more. Her voice resonated clearly across all devices. "People of Zetheria 9, she said, her tone calm but commanding. You have shown courage. You have shown intelligence. Today we have proven that humans cannot be underestimated. Stand together, protect one another, and remember, your strength lies not in weapons alone, but in your unity and your will to survive. The galaxy may doubt us, but we will show them what humanity is truly capable of." The message spread quickly, boosting morale even further. Colonists cheered, organized, and prepared to defend their home if necessary. For the first time in years, fear had been replaced by confidence and hope had replaced despair. Outside the colony, the aliens hesitated. Their previous assumptions were shattered. They had expected weak, submissive humans easy to control. They had underestimated intelligence, strategy, and courage. And now, every step they took reminded them of their error. Ilara signaled her team for one final maneuver. "Activate the final diversion," she instructed. "Lead them away from the colony, make them retreat, and ensure they understand that humans cannot be cornered." Holographic images of human forces appeared on distant ridges. as if thousands were advancing. Barricades and traps guided the aliens' movements. Every time they attempted to regroup or attack, they found themselves delayed, misdirected, or blocked. Confusion turned into frustration, frustration into panic. The aliens finally began to retreat, realizing that continuing the attack would result in more losses without any advantage. One by one, their vehicles withdrew, ships lifted off, and the remaining forces retreated towards safer territory. Humanity had won without a single large-scale confrontation. The humans' courage, intelligence, and coordination had turned the tide completely. Elara looked over the colony, watching the colonists emerge from hiding places, gathering in small groups and celebrating quietly but proudly. "This is what freedom looks like," she said softly. "Not chaos, not destruction, but courage, planning, and the will to protect one another." Rin, standing beside her, nodded. "They've learned quickly. They're ready to defend themselves if needed, and the aliens won't forget this lesson." Elara's eyes gleamed. "They won't, and neither will the galaxy. Humanity has shown once again that we are more than what others expect. We don't give up. We don't surrender. And when we fight together, we are unstoppable." The colonists, now free and inspired, began rebuilding what had been broken. Equipment was repaired, barricades transformed into protective structures, and the colony slowly returned to life. But now it was different. The people had confidence, they had courage, and they had a renewed sense of what it meant to be human. Elara and her team moved among the colonists, offering guidance, encouragement, and reassurance. "You've done more than survive," she told them. "You've learned to take control of your own destiny. Remember this feeling. Remember that fear can be replaced by courage and helplessness by action." As the sun set on Scifi 9, painting the sky in brilliant orange and purple, Elara gazed at the horizon. The mission had been a success, but more than that, it had been a lesson to the galaxy. Humans could never be underestimated. The aliens had assumed weakness. They had assumed submission, but humans had proven otherwise. They had rescued themselves, outsmarted their oppressors, and reclaimed their home. And in doing so, they had shown the true strength of humanity: courage, intelligence, and unity. Elara turned to her team. "Today we've done more than rescue a colony," she said. "We've shown the galaxy that humans rise when others doubt them. We've proven that we are capable of more than anyone expects, and we will continue to prove it, again and again wherever humanity is challenged." The colonists cheered quietly, their spirits lifted and their confidence restored. They had been freed, yes, but more importantly, they had been empowered. They had seen firsthand the intelligence, courage, and determination that defined humanity. Elara smiled, a quiet, confident curve of her lips. "They thought we were weak," she said softly. "They thought we would be afraid. They were wrong. Always wrong." The Aurora's pride waited silently on the outskirts of the colony. Soon the team would depart, but the lesson remained. Humans had shown what they were capable of. They had turned fear into courage, confusion into strategy, and oppression into freedom. And the galaxy would remember. For on Scifi 9, the story of humanity's triumph was complete. The humans had risen not by brute force alone, but by intelligence, courage, and unity. They had reclaimed their home, inspired hope, and sent a clear message to the universe. Humanity was never to be underestimated. And as the twin moons rose over the red desert, casting silver light on the freed colony, Elara knew that this was only the beginning. Humanity had proven its strength, and the galaxy would never again see humans as weak, submissive, or controllable. They were free, they were brave, and they were unstoppable.